Greetings and welcome to the All You Can Geek Gamecast number 645. Tonight, Jim is not here because he's not feeling well. But that is no excuse because we are going to give you the best Gamecast that we can, especially since Jim's not here.
Yep.
So with me tonight is Tony Korkanakis,
I'm full of beans. I'll give the context
Mike,
later.
Mike Saniti,
I am not operating at 60 frames per second.
and your host with the
Most?
most, Corey Feinsod, hanging from a ledge, not getting shot. So, yeah, tonight we're gonna get into the Gamecast. It's got some good stuff for you, and right away we're gonna start with what we've been up to because I will just start real quick since that's usually what Jim does. But no, I want to just mention that I'm in Chapter 5 of
Little
Xenoblade.
shade there. What?
Been putting a lot of time into Xenoblade, trying to get as much as I can. Just got on a boat, sailing around.
Yes,
It's pretty good stuff. Definitely been picking up. The story's been picking up, and I will say, when I saw N, I was like, N? N? It's like, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Would they?
Would they?
And then, yeah, they did. So I was like, okay, interesting. It's pretty cool sequence there, and I'm a little confused though on like the time clock and like what is that actually like? All these people, they're just like essentially, and spoiler alert for people that have, this is from last year, so I've not finished it, so I'm just speaking out of my butt here, but these two factions, they've been fighting each other, and essentially they're fighting each other to kill each other to get more life force to keep fueling this other thing.
The Mobius, yeah.
The Mobius, right. And then when they die, they just go become these husks, and then their life force gets reincarnated in these like bodies that they've been growing in these like tubes. Is that I guess what my understanding? And they kind of come back into the world without the memories from their prior sequence, and they only have like 10-year lifespans.
Yep. So they start at 8, age till 18, and then you're done. You're done. If you make it that far, because most people do not make it that far.
Right.
Most
Yeah, so,
get.
Right. So it's like I will just like so what are the time clocks? Just the time clocks like are just collecting this life force? Is that what that's doing?
So I believe, and the thing is, there's a lot of exposition / lore that you have to get by talking to NPCs. Like even like random like just a named NPC that like like just around the
see a little star on somebody. I'm like, I need
you
to
got to
like,
talk
get
to
that because.
But essentially the time clocks are basically what these is like what is tethering the soldiers on either side to like the network, so to speak, and whatnot. So by destroying the flame clock, those people are freed from that cycle, so to speak, of where like their life force doesn't go feed Mobius, essentially.
But they still die at 18.
They will still die. That's just by design.
Yep. Okay. And then like, how's Ethel look like? She's like in her 20s, and yet, but yeah, everyone else looks like they're, except isn't like, Mia, or Mimi, whatever her name is.
Mio?
Isn't she like Mio? Thank you. Isn't she basically the same age as was Ethel? Ethel? Like they look like. I don't know. It just seems like Ethel was older, even though she's
Is it because of her
in the
name?
same cycle.
No, yeah, I agree. Like you're like, wait a second, and stuff like that. I chalk it up to like she just looks more mature than other people do and stuff like that.
Born, I don't know.
But
okay, yeah, no, it's fine.
yeah.
I guess it's just like, wait, isn't it? This is an 18-year-old. I don't know, like,
yeah.
But they do make some characters seem more mature, and even though like they potentially are in the same like cycle of their lifespan. But in any case, still really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm in chapter 5 now, and yeah, moving along here. I do love the archer lady.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Juniper. So her skill set's pretty cool. Giving them to all my side peoples. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Mike, what have you been? Like,
I mentioned that I was
potentially. You've been in dealing with the Force, and the Force is not with you.
I finished up Burning Shores, like I said, before. It's a pretty good, I think, DLC expansion. But I talked about it more last week. We don't need to go into that.
Oh wait, you're done with it
Otherwise,
already?
I was Burning Shores.
You're done with it?
Yeah,
How long is it?
yeah. Depends on what you're trying to get out of it. It can be like, I would say like, it'll be 5 hours if you just do like all the main quests. But I took
Ooh.
way longer than that because I was doing side quests, and there's one cauldron, if you remember those. There's a couple new enemies. There's two sort of scattered find the five things,
Mm-hmm.
and like 3-ish side quests, and then. But if you ignore most of that, you could do it within 5 hours. I did not
Ooh.
like the ending sequence. I might be in the minority with this, but I don't like when you get spectacle over gameplay in these boss fights at the end. You have a force self section, you have a shoot the weak point section, you have another shoot the weak point section. I'm like,
It's a
I
Suicide
don't
Squad,
like
2024.
yes, a little bit. I just I don't know.
I mean, if we ever see that.
There's just like the game's combat works because there's so many different like ways you can go about it normally, and then you take that all away just to like fight a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
whatever. But it is solid, pretty good. I would recommend it for any fans of the game, of the series for sure. Just if you want to get the most out of it, do the side quests and look for those extra things. But I did. I pretty much did everything. So then I was looking to Jedi Survivor was on my radar as the next game. It's in my top 5 that we mentioned earlier of anticipated. But then I heard some scary things about it, and I was on the fence anyway about if I wanted to try to replay the old game, especially since I was curious if the PS5 upgrade would make those awful loading times better. So when I heard that it was bad and I wanted to wait for a patch, which apparently the console patch comes out today, the second patch technically, really, because they did the day one already. So I did start Fallen Order again. And now Fallen Order starting, it's not the best game to replay quickly. I'm not doing any of the side stuff, and I forgot that the side stuff, at least on that one home world, is how you get new, you up your number of like health kits, and I'm not doing any of that. But I'm also better at this game than I used to be. It seems more simple to me after other games I've played since then. But I'm kind of rushing through because I do just want to get to Survivor. I only worry that I might burn myself out on this type of game. I don't think I will. I generally don't get burned out too easily, but
How long is it? 12, 15 hours?
I think so.
Yeah, about 15 to 18-ish, I would say.
Okay.
It's a good length. I mean, it's not like too short, not
Sometimes
too
you
long.
want a game that's like, like a weekend, like just like spend all weekend finishing it
Yeah.
type of thing.
But no, I mean it's still good, but I am just trying, especially now that I'm satisfied, I think, with just trying to play this after today's patch. So I'm gonna try to rush through it pretty much. I'm on Kashyyyk for the second time.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we did.
But
I mean,
also-
the patch is pretty significant. Like just looking at
yeah,
some of the notes.
it's so significant that I am a little worried about what it does that they don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, just gonna go real quick. We can tie this in. Is like, so they released the patch notes, and we had PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. The fixes were multiple crashes fixed across PlayStation, Xbox, and various areas of the game. Fixed crashes on what were tied to skipping. Like this is crashes. Talking skipping cinematics. Performance improvements across the PlayStation, Xbox. Fix an issue with dynamic cloth inside of Mantis. Fix the various rendering issues. Fix an issue with registered Neko colors not saving. Fixed other things with that. Fixed issues with cinematic dialogue overlapping. Various collision issues. Issues with enemy AI remaining. T-poses. A freeze would occasionally occur
T-poses,
while
what?
taking down to the
now
home.
you will read patch notes and find some funny stuff, but
I mean,
I
that's
think-
how often you're gonna hit that.
This
but,
is so
this is
early,
yeah,
though. Like,
long
not even a
list.
week. Like, they were obviously working on this for a while, because that's how it goes. The game goes gold, it goes to print, but those
Right.
developers still work on the bugs and fixes that QA identified and stuff like that. So they knew they knew about this, which is unfortunate.
and remember, this was delayed about a month or so.
Yeah.
Like its release originally was about a month ago.
Yeah,
so.
I even watched this IGN interview with the director, I believe it is, or producer, whatever the highest person is for the Respawn for this game at Respawn. And he's like, yeah, EA was like, you guys need more time than that, or what? He's like, no, 6 weeks. 6 weeks is good. I'm just like, I don't know if that, and I think I said that for this. I was like, what are they going to do in 1 month? Like, that's not. It's not really that long. Like, what?
All this stuff that they just finished, I guess, maybe.
So.
But the console version was always playable, I guess. I saw some real nonsense from the PC version, though. Have you seen some of the clips of what some of the cutscenes are like?
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, completely broken audio or funny stuff, really, but, like, obviously, like, that's not what you want from the story sections of the game. You just like someone repeating the first like syllable over and over again.
This is a shame. If it wasn't for Last of Us Part 1, I would say this is the worst PC port of the year. But that was.
I mean, they're right on. Like they're right
Some
there.
People said that.
Yeah. I mean, at least with Last of Us, you can go play it actually on a console and get through it.
Yeah, for sure.
And not have to wait for more patches with the. But I mean, they're patching it, so I mean, at least they're doing it. Like, so I think you were right, spot on with that delay. The delay was really just so they could get this patch out when it came out, that week.
Yeah,
and it is a shame because
this week, but we're gonna make sure we have the patches ready.
Exactly.
But it's a shame because this is most of what we're talking about with this game, and it seems like content-wise, it's actually very good. So I'm still looking forward to it.
Great reviews, which is if you can look past all the problems. So.
Yeah, and Churro's chiming again. Thanks for tuning in. Should have just delayed it longer. Don't give a date. Just say delayed. Release a not buggy game. People are just going to demand refunds. And I mean, I'm with you on that. As games get bigger and bigger, and this is regardless of generations, it just keeps getting worse. The bigger games just require more QA, and they're going to have more bugs. And unfortunately, it's just up to the publisher to decide what they do. And which we could tie into the news a little bit, but we'll get to that with Redfall.
Well, I mean, like, what's crazy is we had a game that basically did that, which was Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 got delayed until whenever. Like, who knows when this game's coming out? We have no idea. And it comes out, and it runs fine.
Yeah, it runs great. Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah.
But
has no
nobody
issues.
cares about it. There's no interest for it.
I heard it did decently.
Doing okay, actually, but
I mean, the problem is you have games like Jedi Survivor getting headlines and Last of Us Port getting headlines. So,
but the thing about that is, I've also, from what I've heard about Dead Island 2, is that it's also sort of a throwback type of game. Like, there's not much to it outside of just a normal gameplay loot.
Yeah.
So. I mean, that might be part of it. It's a simpler game.
I mean, and that's fine too. I mean, I think sequelitis is actually a curse in some ways, where it's like you gotta be bigger, you gotta be better, and stuff like that. Yeah. Like kind of what you're saying, Mike, about Horizon. I'm not saying it's indicative because I haven't played the game, but like just because like it is a sequel, it's like we got to throw a bigger enemy or a bigger boss or a bigger threat or whatever, and you just keep escalating. And I think it's perfectly fine to just be like, hey man, you want more of this? We're just going to give you more. Like another island to go through, another whatever. It doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to every single time. If you can just do one thing very well, I'm okay with that. Just be honest about it. I actually think a lot of developers get into this mix where like, we need to chase the newest trends, or whatever. And I don't want to harp on it too badly because I think the series has done a lot of good things over the years. But like Assassin's Creed, I feel is exactly one of those games. And Mike, I'm pretty sure you criticized it before because it started aping a lot of the Soulsborne stuff in terms of the combat and whatnot, where it took away from like the stealth and the
I mean,
and it transitioned to like an open world type of game. And it's like, why are we doing that? Yeah.
Yeah, that it's identity change. It used to be sort of like an action-y stealth game with like. They were first with the parkour stuff, really, more or less. Like they popularized good parkour, and then they just became sort of like this Witcher meets Soulsborne type thing, with the huge open world and Ubisoft checklists.
That's never good because if you're behind on the trends, you're not gonna.
You're
not
never
getting
catching up.
anything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It is funny though. Some people will, say those are great games, even these new ones from Assassin's Creed. But
yeah.
it's just they lost a bit of their identity, I think.
It is funny too, tangentially related to this, because I've been watching some Jedi Survivor streams. Just because I know I've been seeing like people that are early games, so I'm not like spoiling myself or anything like that. But I already see some like Zelda Breath of the Wild elements. I'm just like, well, that's interesting. Like, no wonder you guys,
Well,
the
there are dungeons even in the first game where there's puzzle solving. Not too many,
Like a
but
little Dark Souls, a little Zelda.
Yeah, exactly. And no, that's fine. It's just, I mean, there's definitely some parts where I'm just like, okay, like I see you. I don't think they're shying away from it. I'm pretty sure there's even one where like, yeah, we just wanted to do what they did, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
As far as like the major AAA games that came out this year, every single one of them has been shitty, almost, except for Dead Island too. Like from what like recent memory, like Hogwarts was terrible. Forspoken,
I don't know.
Survivor,
I don't
Last
think
of Us.
people counted Hogwarts as terrible. Jim likes
Buggy
it.
as shit though. Like every one of these games was buggy as.
Hogwarts had
PC. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of it is maybe, them just prioritizing consoles. Because like this is the first year that they've been widely available, and I mean, who knows? Maybe Sony and or Microsoft is give them a little extra. Be like, you got to really make our console versions look good. Stuff like that. But
that was a big detour.
That was a big. That was a big detour.
Yeah. I did want to ask one question before we move to, because I'm curious to hear what you've been playing. But what I was curious about, because like back in the day, like Xbox 360 and stuff, the games came out and they were fairly decent. Like, and like they didn't get these day one patches like we get today.
Mm-hmm.
But they also ended really early. Like they would like you just like not get the end of the game sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk like Halo 2, for instance. Like,
oh yeah,
like, well, we're not finishing this game, but we're gonna put out a game that plays well and like has, it's not gonna be buggy. We're just not gonna give you the end.
Yeah.
Would you rather have that, where you have a game that's playable and is like actually like feels good and there's no bugs and you're not worried about getting crashed and losing your progress, but it's half a game, or would you want these full blown like expensive $1 billion games that you have to wait a year before they're actually playable?
It's hard to say, because like my gut instinct would just, I mean, because both of these obviously have pros and cons, but my gut reaction is to say I'd rather have like unfinished or like half baked or whatever like that, because that worked. It's like that's fine. Like my whole mantra is always like leave me wanting more rather than like dragging it out and being like, okay, we're gonna pad this out and stuff. And yeah, like I think again sequelitis, where it's like they have to be like Halo 2, obviously infamous, or like even Zelda Wind Waker. Like I love that game up until the part where you have to do the infamous Triforce hunting in the sea, which is like just kind of like absolutely, hey, we didn't have time to do like 3 extra dungeons, so and we can't, patching and downloadable, updates wasn't a thing, so it was like, hey, whatever we're shipping, that's what you get. So it's like, well, go do a little, sailing and search for treasure in the sea. And it's like, okay, like I kind of feel that, but like not this bad. And they fixed it for the HD remix. They toned it down and whatnot, but like it just felt so bad. It's like, why am I doing this, Nintendo? Like,
how about late Metal Gear Solid 5 with those level repeats instead of actual story?
Yeah, exactly.
And saw in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, but the thing is,
those aren't even old games either.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
that one.
But the thing is, on the flip side, these games that come out and they're notoriously buggy and stuff, I'm not supporting them in the first day. I'm not rewarding them or supporting them in the first week. Maybe not even the first month. Like, it will literally be like, and Cyberpunk is the perfect example. I bought Cyberpunk when Best Buy was clearance that for $10. I refuse to still play it until the DLC is coming out. I know it's been patched and updated, but still I'm just like hesitant. I'm like, no, I want more updates. I want more patches. Like, I literally want the best game I can get possible, and I know they will do that because, CD Projekt Red absolutely has to make that, a priority for them until the next Witcher game comes out. But other than that, I will not buy these games because it's just like, well, I'll just wait. I'll just wait, because if it's not the
purchases are essentially beta testing.
Absolutely, and the thing is, if it's not the publishers that will fix it, it will be modders that will fix it, especially on PC. And they'll do it for free.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait for like 3-4 years, $10 title or something like that, and I'll mod the shit out of it, and I'll have a great time. But by that time, I don't know if that company is going to still be around, you know? So,
Yeah, they're not gonna see any of that profit. So,
yeah.
well, what 3-year-old game have you been playing?
I have been playing the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC, Future
Nice.
Redeemed.
Yeah, I definitely like blocked all my like views
Oh, yes,
and
yeah.
Blade stuff.
Yes, I'm glad you did, because, like, there are some parts where you just get spoiled for stuff. But it was really, really fun, really awesome. If you like the Torna DLC, it's exactly in that same vein where it's a new, quote unquote, new
Don't
cast,
worry.
you know, and, familiar but still unique mechanics. It's not just you're playing the same thing, but the story just goes through like so much in a relatively short amount of time compared to the main game, obviously, and that's absolutely fine. But it answers a lot of questions. Also, it kind of introduces some more where I'm just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, you need to tell me this thing. I have been expecting this thing. Where is it, Monolith Soft? Where is my answer for this? And some of them have not been answered. And some of the things that happen just raised even more, where it's like mind blown, kind of like, whoa, wait, what? And like, I'm just so fascinated to where they want to go with the series, because while this isn't the last of the franchise, it is the last of whatever they call the arc, the Klaus arc, basically. So, sky's the limit, I guess. But I am absolutely looking forward to where they go the series next, because it's just could be anywhere, could be anything. Who knows? Just.
I mean, gameplay plus story has been good mix.
Gameplay,
So.
yeah, it's good mix. I mean, all the character, like again, like I stand by Xenoblade 3 having the best JRPG cast. That actually just they get along and they talk to each other. It's not like the Final Fantasies or the Personas where it's like they talk a little bit when they get introduced and then they just don't, like kind of are just in the back seat until the next party member joins and then that person does it and it's like, wait, we're friends, right? It's like, yeah, totally. It's like, but we're going to hang out one-on-one only. And it's like, oh, okay, that feels awkward. But this one does the exact same thing where, like, you just have a fresh new set of characters and they add their perspectives and you can see how their actions and decisions impact the storyline and stuff like that. So it's just super, super cool. Super rewarding for the fans. Super rewarding for just fans of Monolith Soft games in general, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, the one thing I will say is that it gets a little tiring when you hear like "I'm the girl with the golf" like, over and over and over.
The thing I would so there will be one thing that you will definitely. So what I said at the beginning, I'm full of beans. Because these characters are all British if you have it to the English dub. And the central character, when he does well in combat, he just goes, I'm full of beans. And I'm just like, what? I was like, am I mishearing this? Is that something else? And no, apparently it's a British expression saying, like, you're full of energy. Because, I don't know, jumping beans or whatever like that. So I was like, oh, okay. So you hear that so much. And I guess if you really wanted to, like... avoid that, I would just switch to the Japanese dub, because at least that way, if you don't understand it, you don't really know what they're saying, and maybe less tiring of it. But yeah,
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we do have some more news, so we'll get into some of that because we already talked about Respawn's, the Jedi Survivor and their missteps there. But we did get some news from a small team led by Steve Fukuda, who was the director of Titanfall series, is in the early stage of developing an original IP. So it is not Titanfall, but it is something that they're working on. My first reaction to this was just like, well, make sure your game that's out now is working. But at the same time, you do need to be working on things, down the pike. And so it's exciting. But as to you alluded in Discord, which join us on Discord if you guys are ever interested, send us a note. We will happily add you there. But yeah, it's not Titanfall. So
yeah. So to me, like my gut reaction, I was memeing or being trolly or whatever. Like, it's not Titanfall 2, I can't care, or Titanfall 3, I can't care until you show me the game. But, I mean, Respawn does a great job. I love Titanfall. I loved, Fallen Order. I'm waiting. I will wait for for everything to be fixed on PC.
Yeah, Survivor's been getting a lot of praise.
Yeah. So once that gets fixed, I'll absolutely play that. So I'm looking forward to it. They're obviously a very accomplished and very, very capable team. Apex, obviously, Legends does fantastic. One of the few battle royale games that's still going to this day. So yeah, I'll be interested when they show it off. But who knows? But glad they are doing an original IP. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, moving on to some more. Again, we touched on it before, but Redfall. One of my bold predictions was that Microsoft was not releasing any games. I obviously did not succeed there, but
maybe they shouldn't have.
They might as well have not released this game.
Yeah, I mean, for all the things we just said about Jedi Survivor, like I kind of feel like Respawn is breathing like easier now this week because people have been memeing on Redfall all day, like a past day. And it's bad. I mean, it is really bad, like almost like Mass Effect Andromeda levels of like clippage and just memery and stuff like that. Like there's a character I saw on video right before the podcast where it's like he's supposed to be walking down the stairs, but the character just glides like freaking Spider-Man animation studio. Where it's just like
it's not his vampire power to glide.
Yeah.
No.
Is this on Game Pass, Mike?
It is on Game Pass.
It is, which is why it'd be funny to play it because no real risk for those on Game Pass. But the only way I would play this is if my Xbox friends are looking for some stupid thing to do. Otherwise, why?
Yeah. I mean, you got Fallen Order, you can not get through.
Yeah.
I mean, or not Fallen Order, sorry, Survivor. So.
Well, yeah, I have to get through Fallen Order to get to Survivor at this point.
Might as well deal with bugs in the game that you want.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like this is such a bad time for the game because, Jedi Survivor just came out, right? Next week, Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. Next month, we have Street Fighter 6 and you have Final Fantasy 16. I mean, these are quality games that are bound to be successful and stuff like that. And this is your offering. This is the best that Arcane Studios / Bethesda could do / Microsoft. Like, it's off. Like this shouldn't. If this was a game from a first time studio, like a new developer, something like that, I could somewhat be like, okay, rough around the edges. Nice try. But this is just like, you guys, this is fucking amateur hour. I don't know what happened here, but you guys fucked up like really bad. And when game
is broken.
Yeah, at a time when Xbox desperately needs a W, and like a big W, not a small W, which I consider Hi-Fi Rush because it's stealth drop, indie-ish, not indie because it's Bethesda, but I mean, come on, like this is supposed to be your premier thing. It was at so many E3 conferences. They wanted to be the next big co-op experience for only on Xbox. And you come out like this, like it's sad. It really is just sad. And I'm kind of glad Jim isn't here to say this because I know how much of a Microsoft guy he is. But like, what are you doing, man? Like, what is this? Phil Spencer, what the fuck is going on, buddy?
I saw a good meme. It's the Charlie Brown, Lucy, and Charlie Brown football. It's like the football AAA games. Charlie Brown, Microsoft fans, and then Lucy's Microsoft Studios. It's like,
and it's just. It's just boggling my mind because like this is like a thing where like on paper, I'd probably have no real interest just based on appeal. But it's like like Mike said, if it's a part of a Game Pass offering, okay, like sure, I will try that out. But not when the game is broken and buggy. Like maybe intentionally, if we're like, hey, let's boot this up to see how buggy it is, guys. Like, but that's not a good sign of a good game. Yeah,
consoles to run games at 60 frames, right?
Right.
You can't even do that.
Yeah, you can't even do that. So like, I mean, and especially now, I'm not going to jump into the game when Zelda's out, and I can't imagine you're going to do it with Star Wars is out. Jim and Mike are going to be playing Star Wars, so why? Like, why did you bother? Why?
And the thing is too, like, I'm not a big frame rate guy, but for a shooter now, it should probably be 60 frames.
Yes, absolutely, 100%, and especially on as a current gen exclusive, like there's no there's no excuse. So just it's sad. I'm sorry, I don't want to trash the developers, but clearly something went wrong along those lines, and really like somebody's got to grill Phil Spencer on these things because he prides himself on being a gamer, right? As a gamer, CEO of the Xbox division, bro. Why the fuck aren't you playing these games yourself? Like I don't know.
Like he is, and he's still letting them get through.
Yeah. Either way, like you're fucking up. Like, if it were me, I'd be like, yo, guys, this game sucks. Like, do better than this.
Yeah, and they were canceling stuff left and right.
Right.
So,
Right.
Something coming
Right?
out.
So, like, how bad were those things that they were canceling those games? Like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, let's keep it in the Microsoft world right now because the UK does not want the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. So what's next? Like, what does that mean? Like,
So it's crazy because the CMA, and like for weeks I've been resigned actually that they were like, oh yeah, we don't care because, you know, they did all the proof and was like, oh, well, Call of Duty isn't necessary. Sony has such an advantage in the console space, you know, blah blah blah. But the CMA is like,
the competition appeal.
It's not the Country Music Awards.
no, it's not the Country Music Awards.
What is CMA? Let's CAT. I don't even know what does CMA mean. I'm trying to find it here.
It's some British thing. That's all we need to know.
It's a British group. I think the A things for
Competition and Markets Authority.
Yeah, authority. There you go.
Sure.
But yeah, so basically, you know, this is the one authority within the European Union, they're UK based, that actually just came back, you know, after all the analysis that they did, all the legal stuff that's already been out. And they're like, yeah, so, you know, we don't dispute, you know, Microsoft's thing that, you know, Sony, blah, 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 this and the other thing. But Microsoft wasn't exactly forthcoming with how advantageous they are in the cloud gaming area already. And how, you know, this acquisition of Activision Blizzard could possibly, you know, see, what do I want to say, other competition in that space in the future. You know, you're getting kind of close to like a monopolistic, you know, thing. They could control prices, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, yeah, so because of that, no, we're not approving this merger. And it's big. It is big. Like, it's one of those things where Microsoft cannot just ignore it, because if they ignored it, they would have to literally pull out of all of Europe, not just Xbox, but literally anything Microsoft related, like
similar to how
Windows.
the Europeans pushed USB-C on Apple's devices.
exactly. Like they don't fuck around. So this is huge. Obviously, right away, Microsoft and Activision-Blizzard-King both, you know, fired off lawyers or like saying how disappointed they were with the decision, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Apparently have a chance to counter or something or whatever. I think Jim mentioned there was something about like, oh well, if you promise not to ever raise Game Pass prices, it'll be okay.
Like
and I'm just like, I don't understand how that makes, like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know who said that. That just seems like somebody reading between the lines or, you know, just assuming here. But hopefully the saga isn't over because until the fat lady sings. So I expect this will be drawn out for a couple more months, if not the rest of the year, maybe even a full year. But I'm all for it because, again, I just acquisitions of that nature.
Microsoft so far has proven that they can't.
They can't manage it, right? And that's exactly the fucking thing. Like, it's just, you know, if Microsoft was a good steward of these companies, I might be convinced. Like, okay, you know what, you are a better, you know, steward of these resources and companies. Like, but they're not. They're not. These buy these fucking companies and they make them worse. Yep. They absolutely make them worse.
Gut them and then just close them, and then they like.
And they act surprised. You know, it's like, oh, what, you guys like fucking, you know, Rare? Like, oh my god, like what? So yeah, no, fuck Microsoft, fuck Activision, fuck Bobby Kotick for just trying to get an easy way out and get his fucking payout. So yeah, fuck everyone involved.
Well, I mean, let's move into getting games out. And the Marvel Midnight Suns is coming digitally to Xbox One and PS4.
Canceled on Switch.
And it has been canceled on the Switch version. That's really disappointing. It doesn't look like a game that would be like too intensive on the Switch.
I will tell you this: it is as it stands on the PS5. It's a pretty janky game already. It's things get a little shaky here and there already in that, so it's probably not super optimized either.
Well, along with that though, you're getting some new DLC.
The final DLC.
The final DLC.
Yeah, character Storm.
Yeah.
Bloodstorm. I see that in the.
Yeah, the people, the fan base for this game was actually pretty impatient because the other characters came out like monthly, very quickly. This one took extra couple weeks, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably get it. I want to support this game. Actually, at
Mm-hmm.
this point, I'm paying piecemeal for these DLCs,
Oh,
even
you're
though I
giving
could
more
have
money.
done the season pass. Yeah. Else I didn't know at the time I would like the game that much early on, and then by the time I got the first one, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do them all. So whatever. And I hope this digital release on the older gen systems gives it more of that tail they were looking for. So who knows? Maybe this wouldn't be. Maybe they support it in the future or make a sequel. Who knows? But
Yeah, I think with the
I'm
the
hoping.
support has
Here's
gotten,
hoping.
it seems like it's prime for a sequel that could build on what they've done
I'm
here.
I'm really just surprised they canceled the Switch version because like they've been working on it. So like I don't. The only my guess here, my blind guess, is that it has been running the way they wanted it to, and they're just gonna wait for the Switch 2 next year and be like, you get a port. That's that'll be fine. Because like the thing is like I just can't imagine like. I mean, it's a turn-based strategy game, right? Card-based strategy game, right? So
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty the whole like exploration of your like home base area is decently like it.
yeah, but that's all
Rendering
Well,
an
you could just
area.
turn,
reminds
but you
me
could just
of
turn
like
that down, right?
yeah, in a Telltale game where it's like how much is actually going on that you like because the graphics are not super intensive.
No, like everything I've
This
seen, like
does have a pretty egregious like level of detail thing where it's not far enough away. If you look at someone from, like I would say maybe if it was the real world like 100 feet away, which isn't really that far, they like their animations are like frames per second all of a
right,
sudden,
it's
and like
stuttered,
you
yeah,
see it and it's like, oh my god, why that's what they chose to do here.
yeah.
So
It's probably
they're
just
saving stuff with that too, but it's not working.
yeah. I don't know what engine it was running on, but I imagine like if they just optimize a bit better, or maybe just turn down the bezel, because like I mean, Switch already has games like this. You look at Fire Emblem Three Houses, and you're like, these games are almost exactly the same exact thing that they're trying to do. Like you have a
Three Houses
that's
looks like
Yeah,
it's
I
doing
mean,
more.
yeah, yeah,
there's really nothing that looks like outstanding in this game. Like it should work,
right.
but
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it will come to Switch 2 because like the thing is like the Switch would absolutely eat this up because I mean there's so many strategy games already on the system that it's like those there are fans of that
Seems like
kind
a
of
prime
game
game
stuff,
for a portable.
right, exactly,
Also.
exactly. So here's hoping it's just a Switch 2 kind of thing.
Yeah, well, let's get into some more Switch news here because it looks like people are already playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
but not on the Switch.
Nope, PC because people had to be bad, and I get it. When you're a high profile release like this, apparently.
I mean, I don't think it's going to affect the sales.
No, it's definitely not going to affect the sales. I don't care about that. I care about that. No, I had to mute Zelda related things on like all my social media stuff, and I'm like,
spoilers are coming out.
I'm like, I'm even like very cautious of going on YouTube and getting spoiled by thumbnails or anything like that because I just do not want it. Like somebody spoiled something in Xenoblade that way for me, and I'm just like, bro, like why the fuck did you choose that as the thumbnail? Like you could have chosen anything else in this fucking video, and you chose that. But.
Yep. I hate when they do that. It's like, yeah, seriously. Just
Yeah.
put the title screen on there or something. Like,
Yeah.
You don't need...
And this is going to be like a hot take thing, but like this is why I'm actually glad when Nintendo is very litigious with people that do that shit. Like I don't know if we covered it in the news or the Discord or anything like that, but a couple months ago somebody leaked contents of the official art book that comes with the special collector's edition of the game. And people are like, why is Nintendo going after, the guy that leaked the art? It's just an art book and stuff like that. It's his. He bought it legally. It's like, well, A, no, he didn't buy it legally. It's because it's not available for sale. Two, even if he paid somebody for it, that doesn't mean it was acquired legally. But like, third of all, like it's not his property. You can't share it. That's like me like getting access to a new movie and just uploading to the internet. I can't do that. I cannot do this. That weekend did that was fine. I forgot to bring that up during the movie cast. But Mario and Dungeons and Dragons and Avatar, right? We're all on Twitter for like.
I mean, there are tons of them. Like Jim posted that in the Discord. By the way, we're talking about people are just started uploading full movies on Twitter because nobody's policing Twitter. So
Yep.
People are just doing it, and he posted Super Mario Brothers got the entire movie uploaded to Twitter. I was like, yeah, I've seen like a whole bunch of these already like coming out. And they're like good quality.
They're good quality too, so it's crazy. But yeah, back to the leakers. Fuck people that take I just hate anybody that leaks anything because you're taking it away from the people whose job it is to make something, and part of making something is also portraying it and releasing it in the way that they want to, in the way that they want to share and they want to convey that message, right?
Right.
Like if somebody is uploading a trailer or part of the movie that spoils the ending, you know, what's the point of seeing all the trailers leading up to it to get you to want this movie, to get you interested in seeing this movie? Because if imagine I don't know, Sixth Sense here, and I'm going to spoil that fucking old movie. But like if somebody had spoiled like, oh, he's a ghost the whole time, like people be like, oh, and I'd be like, that's dumb or whatever, and like shrug and be like, okay, well I don't need to see that movie now or something like that. It takes away from the experience.
I mean, the perspective that you take on this media, that either film, art, whatever it is, once you've been skewed with the perspective and not displayed it, like you're saying, not being shown it to it like the way that they was intended.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely skews your perception of it because the artist has a specific vision for it, and they want you to see it and experience it in a specific way. And then once that's spoiled for you, or once that's ruined, I guess, in some senses, it can never be taken back.
Exactly.
Like you can't put that back in the bag.
Yeah.
And Churro chimes in saying the same. Like he's so mad. I can't go anywhere because I'm gonna get spoiled.
Yeah, with a meme.
And
yeah,
so
exactly.
True.
It's
true. It's like it's gonna happen. And like people, they don't think about that either.
They don't think about the consequences. They just want, and that's what pisses me off the most is like they just want their 15 minutes of fame. Like, oh, cool, because like this happened in the Magic the Gathering world. We don't have to go into detail, but like some guy apparently got the next set ahead of time somehow, he like uploaded a whole video just of him opening packs of cards that they didn't reveal yet because they haven't even started the spoiler season. And just because he had like some dumb small YouTube channel, he gained followers. But I mean, he went from like 1,000 to like, I don't know, 1,500 or something like that. And basically wound up spoiling the entire set over like 3 videos. Wizards of the Coast sent Pinkertons to go after him because he had product that he shouldn't have had access to. So people are all like up in arms about Wizards hiring Pinkertons. And I'm like, fuck him. Like, he knew what he was doing. I'm sorry. Like, he clearly knew he was doing something wrong, and he was doing it for attention. So fuck him. I have no remorse for him.
He probably even joked about it in his video.
He did. He absolutely did. He's like, oh, I don't, he's like, I don't know what this is, guys. And he's just opening up. He's like, whoa, this is weird, but okay, it's cool. And then by the end of the 3rd video, he's like, yeah, I think, Wizards probably isn't happy with me right now. I'm like, yeah, they're not happy with you, dude. Like, very unhappy. But anyway, fuck people that spoil and leak that shit. Like, I mean, we don't have to go back, like, what, 2-3 years with Last of Us 2? I mean, that was so bad in terms of, like, the knee-jerk reactions. Just, like, of, like, and that shaped, part of the marketing, because it was so close to release, and people just, like, And I know me, like, myself, I was affected because I was like, ugh, like, this just reminds me of the worst parts of The Walking Dead for me, so I just kind of lost any...
And that's the thing, even with officially released trailers, sometimes they'll just ruin the movie for you. It's like, well, why am I even going to see this now?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's one thing if their marketing department does it, that's on them. That's on the company.
I've been saying, like, even they're doing it, too.
Yeah.
Like, you get the leakers, but then you get, like, Shazam showing Wonder Woman in the freaking trailer. I'm like, what the
Well, yeah, but that's because they're desperate. They're like, well, if we show Wonder Woman, we get an extra $1 million in ticket sales. Just show a little Gal Gadot, stuff like that. But yeah.
So yeah, that I think is gonna do it for the Gamecast, guys. Remember, we are on Twitch live every Tuesday night, usually around 8 p.m. Eastern with the movie cast, and a little ways after, right away, we go into the Gamecast, discuss those games with you. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, or YouTube. We get these up on YouTube the next day if you can't catch us live. All of your audio podcasting apps, Apple, Podbean, Spotify?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, follow us there, and we do have a Discord. If you guys are interested, hit us up. We will get you an invite to our Discord. Join us there. Join the conversation. Send us some notes, and join us live. We'll love to discuss with you anything, anytime. So with that, we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.